At just 17 years old, Kobe Bryant entered the NBA, stepping into a world built for grown men, veterans, legends, players who had spent years preparing for that moment. And then there was Kobe, young, confident, fearless. But the world wasn't impressed. They were watching, not to support him, but to judge him. They called him arrogant. They called him overrated. They called him obsessed. And maybe they were right, because Kobe Bryant was never normal. Early in his career, the pressure started showing. In a crucial playoff game, with everything on the line, Kobe Bryant took the shot. He missed. He tried again. Missed again. And then another miss. Air ball. The moment echoed through the arena. Fans reacted instantly. Critics didn't hold back. This kid isn't ready. He's trying too hard. He'll never be that guy. For most players, that moment would have destroyed their confidence. But for Kobe Bryant, it became fuel. While the world moved on, he didn't. He stayed with that failure. Replayed it again and again in his mind. Every mistake, every wrong decision. And then he did something most people wouldn't. He went to work. Early mornings, late nights, empty gyms. While others were sleeping, Kobe Bryant was practicing. While others were relaxing, Kobe Bryant was pushing harder. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to. Because for him, being average was never an option. He wasn't chasing success. He was chasing perfection. And slowly things started to change. The same player people doubted began to improve. Better footwork, better shooting, better decisions. Confidence replaced hesitation. And eventually dominance started to show. And that dominance didn't just stay hidden. Slowly the world started noticing. The same player they once doubted was now becoming one of the most dangerous players on the court. Game after game, Kobe Bryant kept improving. His confidence grew stronger, his movements sharper, his mindset tougher. But with that growth came something heavier, expectations. Now, he wasn't just another young player trying to prove himself. He was becoming a star, and stars don't get room to fail. Every game became a test. Every mistake became a headline. Every miss was questioned. And then came the comparisons to legends like Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time. Imagine carrying that kind of pressure every single day, not just trying to win, but being expected to match greatness that had already defined history. Most players would run from that. But Kobe Bryant didn't. He embraced it. That mindset turned into something the world would later call the Mamba Mentality. But it wasn't just a mindset. It was a way of living. Waking up before sunrise, training for hours, studying every detail of the game. No excuses, no shortcuts, just work. And that work started showing results in ways no one could ignore. Clutch shots became normal. Game winners became expected. And then came one of the most unforgettable performances in basketball history. 81 points in a single game. It wasn't just a performance. It was a statement. A message to the world that Kobe Bryant wasn't just great. He was unstoppable. But even that didn't remove the pressure. Because when expectations reach that level, greatness becomes normal. And anything less starts to feel like failure. But the truth about greatness is something most people never see. The higher you rise, the heavier everything becomes. Every loss feels bigger. Every mistake feels louder, and the pressure never really goes away. It only changes. Kobe Bryant had already proven himself. Championships, records, unforgettable performances. He had everything a player could dream of. But still, it wasn't enough. Because now he had something even heavier to carry. A legacy. And the world was watching closer than ever. Every season was judged, every performance analyzed, every move questioned. And slowly, time started catching up. The body that had been pushed beyond limits for years began to feel it. Injuries started appearing. Pain became part of the routine. But Kobe Bryant kept going, because stopping was never part of who he was. And then came the moment that could have ended everything. The Achilles injury. One of the most devastating injuries an athlete can face. For most players, that's the end. But Kobe Bryant was different. Even after tearing his Achilles, he stood up, walked to the free throw line, and made both shots. In pain, in silence, in control. That moment wasn't about winning. It wasn't about points. It was about identity. About showing the world that no matter how much it hurt, he would not quit. And in the end, that's what made him unforgettable. Not just the success, not just the championships, but the mindset. Because when everything was trying to break him, Kobe Bryant chose not to break. And even after that moment, the story didn't suddenly become easy. Recovery was slow. Pain stayed. Doubts returned. Many people started questioning again. They said he would never come back the same. They said his best days were behind him. And for the first time in years, the world started to count him out. But Kobe Bryant had never been someone who listened to limits set by others. Every single day, he kept pushing forward, training, recovering, rebuilding. Not at full strength, not at his peak, but still moving, still fighting. Because for him, giving up was never an option. It didn't matter how long it would take. It didn't matter how difficult the process was. What mattered was continuing. That's what separated him from everyone else. Not just talent, not just skill, but the ability to keep going when everything around you tells you to stop. And even though his body wasn't the same, his mindset never changed. The same discipline, the same obsession, the same hunger to be better, to give more, to prove once again that he belonged at the top. Then came the final chapter, his last game. No expectations of dominance, no pressure to perform at a historic level. Just a farewell, a goodbye. But Kobe Bryant didn't do average. He never did. That night, he gave everything he had left. Every ounce of energy, every bit of focus, every last piece of his legacy, and he scored 60 points. Not because it was easy, not because he was at his best, but because that's who he was. Someone who refused to go out quietly. Someone who refused to be ordinary. That final performance wasn't just about basketball. It was about showing the world what it means to stay committed, no matter how hard things get. Because in the end, greatness isn't just about how high you rise. It's about how you respond when everything starts to fall apart. Kobe Bryant didn't just rise. He endured. He fought. He stayed. And that's why his story is different. Because when the pressure became too much, when the pain became unbearable, when the world expected him to fall, he didn't. He stood tall, and that is what made him unforgettable.